Well, welcome back to the Cigar Professor, and yes, I'm at the helm once again. Isn't it wonderful? Topher's not here, Omar's not here, but unfortunately that does mean you're probably going to have to suffer a monologue with me for quite some time through this show tonight. This is something that Omar has been absolutely dreaming about since we started Cigar Professor. He is one for many a stick in a row. As you well know, he cannot just have one cigar. He has to have 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 or 20. And, well, basically, tonight we're going to smoke 2 cigars in a row. As you remember, we've had the Perdomo Firecracker in the past, and we've had it on 2 occasions, both times from my personal inventory, which this tonight's stick is also from my personal stash. And I wanted to go back and refresh our memories on what this cigar is like, what the experience was like, because after we finish that cigar, we're going on to our second cigar. And the second cigar is the EP Carrillo Pledge in a Firecracker. So you'll remember it won Cigar of the Year a few years back, and we had it in one of our packs, and that was a Robusto size. Well, this year they came out with a Firecracker for United Cigars. And so what we want to do is we want to look at what the Perdomo Firecracker was like, get an idea of its story and its tasting notes, and then have this one and sort of get an idea of how EP Carrillo have interpreted the Firecracker Vitola as part of this limited run. Only 1,000 boxes of this were produced. But speaking of the 2 devils, the one that's looking forward to all the cigars, Omar, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm good. So happy that we're missing an ugly face, and Professor is just glowing. It's just very positive. It's glowing. It's all positive. So look, I did actually want to throw a party because because there's a lack of negative energy today. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Right. Well, I was just mentioning that you thought this was going to be probably the best night ever on Cigar Professor.
Yeah,
we're smoking not 1 but 2 cigars back to back.
And like, it's just you and me.
The only thing that could make it better for Omar is if it was 3 cigars back to back.
I know.
Talking of negative energy, and look, we do know that.
What?
Well, look, we know that British people are miserable. We call them whinging Toms, and well, just to bringing some of that negativity from London. Here's Topher.
Shit. Oh, hey.
G'day, Gus.
Oh, Topher.
Really hey, Omar. How are you? Great to see you, man. I've been missing you. Yeah. Look, I can't bring you a 3rd cigar in today's show. I'm sorry, that's beyond my powers, but I can bring you a 3rd cigar, Professor. And I just thought, you know what? It would just be wrong of me to deprive Omar of my company today. It's just, being halfway around the world, there's no excuse. It would just be wrong. So, you know what? Here I am, showing my commitment once again.
Yeah. So good to see you, dude. I couldn't believe it.
I know. You've got nothing but nice things to say about me behind my back. I know that.
Absolutely.
Well, I reckon we get straight into it because we do have 2 cigars to get through tonight. So I'm just doing a straight cut. Now, the downside with mine is that the wick or the fuse on this Firecracker Vitola, i.e. the tail, is actually being left on the outside of my band. Yeah. So I am just going to take it off. If it was on the inside, I would have left it there. And the interesting thing is there are subtle differences in smoking this cigar with or without that wick on it. That you wouldn't believe that small amount of tobacco just adds that tiny little bit of peppery spice to the smoking experience. But I've had it enough times with it, so tonight I'll go without.
Yeah, it definitely does. But also, can I just say, Omar, top work on this cutter. I cannot believe that you found a good quality, perfect cutter that you could throw in as a gift that was like cheap enough to throw in as a gift, and it works well. Like I've double cut this, 2 beautiful slices of tobacco taken off this thing. No crushing, no nothing, just a great cutter. Well done.
Beautiful. Thinking of doing the this time around?
I'm traveling, so I've been reduced to the matches. I'm afraid, guys. I can't travel with the jet lighter.
Oh, really?
No, they don't let you on a plane with a jet lighter. So I'm doing it old school here in old London town.
Oh, yeah.
Well, first puff, voluminous amount of smoke. A little bit of black pepper, but definitely got a toasty, baked biscuit note there.
I remember having this cigar very, very long time ago with Dames when we first got it. That would have been what? 5 years ago? 6 years ago?
I can't remember when it came out. I think it was it 2019?
Is it 2019 or 18?
I can't remember.
I reckon
The
it was
last few
18.
years are quite a blur.
And on that
I tell you what,
sorry.
I was just going to say, it still packs a significant punch for something with a good 5 years under its belt.
Yeah, it always does. I think that is probably, I would say, one thing about the cigar that day. I specifically remember, I don't remember vividly cigars as much as I remember this one, that it has the most quickest transition between hard spice to heavy sweetness ever.
Yeah, right.
From light up spice to cinnamon sweetness. Most profound.
Daniel wants to know, don't they sell jet lighters in London?
No,
Yeah, but I'm a cheapskate because then not since Guy Fawkes Day, they're afraid of anyone having the ability to light a fire. Damo, your visa would be denied. You're too skilled with firecrackers, I'm afraid.
Look, one of the interesting things that I found about these firecrackers, when I got them fresh and I was having them with Omar, when they were really, really fresh, that transition, as he said, was quite dramatic. But the interesting thing was the transition into the sweetness early on. I vividly remember it was almost like a cola syrup sweetness. It was almost like that undiluted cordial sweetness to it, and it was just amazing. But that has settled down a lot as these have gathered some age.
Well, they're a beautiful stick, and even just the color that's still on them, just everything about them. They're a great size, a great vitola. It's just a shame that they come from Perdomo. Would have been nice to have been able to give Damo some stick, but unfortunately, this is a true Perdomo. The only thing that was more truly a Perdomo was the one that Damo infused. But this one, Damo has selected, fought tooth and nail for. Look, I've heard rumors, Damo, that you had to run over the bodies of grandmothers to get a hold of these, and that what you did was you started stealing the stilettos off the bodies on the floor, so that as you ran over the top of the other ones, they'd stay down. To get as many boxes as you did. I mean, look, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just telling you the stories that I'm hearing.
I don't divulge my sources or my techniques for acquiring good cigars.
Hello, Iris. You tell your dad to keep his eyes on the road. Yeah, I haven't had a cigar in a little while now, and this is a great reintroduction to cigars after a couple of weeks off.
So
the Carrillo wrapper.
About the EP Carrillo, and I'm more than willing to oblige on that. It is definitely a Maduro wrapper, given the color of it. The interesting thing is that the USA Connecticut Habano wrapper. It's a USA grown wrapper on it. The binder in it's Ecuador. The filler is Nicaraguan. And as I said, there was a limit of 1,000 boxes of that cigar made. So, very many. Even less than the Firecrackers were. The Firecrackers were 5,000 boxes, limited production. The Pledge is only 1,000. I had
Damo, I don't know.
They went on sale to secure the 2 boxes we acquired.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, within about an hour they were sold out. Like,
I could believe it.
What I like about the Firecrackers is it's although it's a small smoke, but it's like I'm on, baby. Like it's from get go. It's action packed. It's all the way through action packed.
Yeah, for sure.
Never a dull moment in that. That's the idea.
I also appreciate people just trying something. I'm sure there's a lot of experiments out there that cigar blenders try and then they never see the market because they just don't kind of work. They don't really add anything. So I really appreciate it when someone experiments with something and goes, hey, that actually works. That actually adds something to the experience and then really runs with it. And that's what we see with the Firecracker line.
Yeah, that's right.
Look, that sweetness for me, I'm really getting some nice notes of burnt caramel. Maybe even maybe hinting a little bit to a burnt honeycomb flavor.
I originally thought it was like dark chocolate type of sort of flavor that has a reminiscence of coffee, but more of a dark chocolate. But yeah, I know what we sort of kind of going toward that.
So,
Stu, don't worry tonight.
Requesting a 15-minute extension. Look, don't worry, Stu. Apart from this cigar, we've got the second one to go, so you'll still be in the show. So,
I saw the question about coffee. Look, I've actually resorted to asking for filter coffee. That's what I'm having here, because the level of disappointment is lower because my expectations are lower.
Yeah, sorry, David. I just respond to David's comment. I thought you were talking about the EP Carrillo. You are correct. The Perdomo Firecracker is the sun-grown wrapper on it.
Udo, you're smoking with us tonight. Welcome.
Welcome, Udo.
Hi, Udo. I've had the pleasure of meeting Udo a couple of times now. He gets hand delivery from me, so. He puts an order in, and I just try and arrange my life to go past his neck of the neighbourhood and deliver them to him in person. And the only downside is I don't think we've actually had the opportunity to sit down and have a cigar together. So I think my delivery terms are going to change, that it will be conditional of a cigar next time.
So it should be. So it should be.
Exactly.
Going to see if I can rearrange my camera a little bit so you got less of a nostril shot, because as much as I'm sure you guys love looking at that, Omar especially. There we go. Well, that's about as good as it's going to get, guys.
That sweetness is softened a little bit as well. It's quite dynamic in the opening. It's going through quite a few changes.
I'm surprised to be saying this because this isn't what I expect when you age a cigar. But I think, if anything, it's actually become a little bit bolder. It was never a mild cigar. It's always had good body. But for me, I feel as though it's actually even a little bit bolder again.
It could be you're traveling with the cigars as well.
Could be, yeah. Couple of weeks of no cigar. It could be a number of different factors, but what I'm experiencing is quite a bold cigar. I like it, but it's quite bold at the moment.
Topher, I would say this. I don't say this often, but you are almost 100% right, because I was almost thinking exact same. I'm like, okay, it's got a lot of age in it, but it's like it's getting bolder with that, and you just said it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
100%.
Well, there you go. I'll mark today in my diary. Today's the day when Omar complimented my taste.
No. I seriously, when you said that, and I was actually thinking, I'm like, why the heck this cigar is getting stronger with age? Like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Good. Well, Damo, I don't know if you've got those pictures that I sent through handy. No need to rush with them, but I have been really appreciating the cigar culture in London. The prices are not really any better.
How did you
The
find
prices are no better.
David of London? The
Look,
is it Sakian brother?
yeah.
Family?
So what's funny is around that area, there's no less than 5 different cigar shops.
Yes.
And what's really interesting is that all of them seem to get along really well with each other, because I went into 3 of them and chatted with the staff, and in every single case, they had no hesitation telling me about the other ones around them. And so I was asking about the Angel Share because I enjoyed that so much. You let me take some of those off your hands a little while ago, Damo. Actually, no, I think that was the trio that you gave me. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I said yes and started running before you could change your mind. And well, ironically, one of them I gave to Nigel Farage, who I'll be seeing in a couple of days' time. So I'll ask him about whether he ended up smoking that whilst he was deep sea fishing in Mauritius or not, because that's where he was heading after he was in Australia. Anyway, so I was trying to track down some of those and get a hold of some of those. And I was in Davidoff, and they said, "Oh no, look, you need to go around the corner and talk to I think it's called G Cigars or C Cigars or something like that. They're the importer for all the Fuente Fuente." And no hesitation at all, and quite clearly very good relationship, clearly very friendly with them. No, get around the corner. They're just here. Here's how to find them, and they'll have whatever you want. Well, it turns out they don't either, because the Angel Share, of course, is very hard to get. But then in there, they were telling me about yet another cigar store, and then I've noticed a couple of others as well. So the cigar culture here seems to be, even though it's quite competitive, there's a lot of stores. It seems to be very. There's a real camaraderie there, which is really, really nice.
Yes. And you will see more cigar bars than Sydney or Melbourne.
Sorry, Omar?
And you will see more cigar bars than Sydney or Melbourne.
Oh. And you can, if you can smoke anything that you buy in a cigar store, in the cigar store. You can't BYO. Apparently, it's actually a legal thing. They can't let you BYO. But it's classified as sampling, and if you get it from them, you can then go and sample it inside the store. And what was interesting, we went into Harrods, and they have a basement level cigar area in Harrods here, which was really lovely. And you can go and buy a cigar, and then they have members boxes where they're secured boxes with padlocks on them, and you can get a membership at the club, and then you can age all of your cigars in their humidor. And they just keep them there under lock and key, and you can just come in anytime and get them and come and go. And then there's a lounge. So what we've been told, they open the lounge at 10 o'clock in the morning, and later on next week, we're going to have someone who can look after Flossie for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually head down there and enjoy an indoor cigar in the Harrods private cigar bar, which you can use as long as it isn't full of members. Members get priority. But as long as it's not full of members, which at 10 o'clock in the morning, they said it never is, where there's always room at 10 o'clock in the morning, we can just go down there.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It's amazing. It's a totally different experience.
Yeah. I think culturally, cigar culture is far ahead of us.
Oh, I just got that cola syrup note. Just like I got some sweet sugar syrup cola flavor in my mouth. Oh, that's incredible. Totally incredible. I've missed that flavor note because I have the last, year or two I've been having these. I haven't had it, but this one just gave it to me. Just that last puff.
I think the cola is called
very nice.
/cola/nuttiness. It's like cola nut, whatever. It's just very nice. It is a drier cigar.
I see David's question there. Sorry. You good?
Yeah, David's got a question.
Yeah, I see David's question there. The prices here are probably about 20% cheaper than in Melbourne, so not much of a difference in reality. So where I'd be paying, so a wide Churchill, I'll pay $90 at a brick and mortar in Melbourne. Sometimes more, actually. These days, maybe it's a bit more. So maybe my Melbourne pricing is a little bit out of date in my head, but we'll pay $90 for a wide Churchill in Melbourne, and you'll pay the equivalent of $80 here. So not a huge difference, really.
There's a bit of
So the
spice
place
in
where
there,
I've
as well, but it's. I'm trying to think. It's almost a little nutmeg light and a little bit of cardamom.
I'm just answering
right off this.
answering Iris's question there. We're starting with the Perdomo, Iris. And just that trademark build quality that you expect with a Perdomo. It's I lit up using a match, which always gives you a slightly less perfect light up than a jet lighter does. Even so, it's corrected any little imperfections as a result of that. It's just burning nicely.
Yeah, gorgeous burn. Really nice burn.
For me, it's just beginning to develop a little bit of a tang in there as well. Very, very slight. I'm digging through all the other flavors that you've already sort of discussed. There is just a little bit of a tang. It's not a vegetative tang. It's not a
It's almost
what is that?
Reminiscent of a Cuban tang.
Cuban tang.
Once you've breathed out,
right.
just take some of the air in your mouth and pass it back
Cuban
over your sinuses out
Very
your nose,
similar.
and it's that Cuban note.
Hey,
Yeah,
there's no more Cuban tang. The Cuban cigars don't even have that tang anymore. Most of them don't. Yeah.
No, I didn't want to say Cuban tang because it just seemed like it was just too easy to reach for that one. But yes, that is what it's reminiscent of.
Yeah.
This is gorgeous. I look. It's amazing that they've managed to pack so much of a journey in the first third of such a small stick.
Yeah.
Like, that is skill. That is true skill.
Yeah.
And this is
It's probably all the I was just going to say it's the hair off the floor. It's the hair from the floor of the factory.
Yeah.
It just gets wrapped in. You know. Yeah.
And the bristles off the broom and all that sort of stuff. This is my idea of a great cigar. You know, a cigar that's just dynamic and changing, giving all these little pops of flavor and changes, burning perfectly. This is my ideal cigar.
Yeah.
I was thinking two things.
Yeah.
So that's not a demo question, by the way. So demo, you can just not worry about that. It's a Topher question. I would love your insight on that. I mean, you have a lot of political experience in your life. When I say a lot, at least like a few years. So you've been heavily involved in this.
Sure.
So I was thinking that the oldest business in the world is prostitution, right? The most ancient. Do you from your knowledge, from your understanding of businesses and politics and all that, do prostitutes pump up everyone that goes in there? Because if you listen to Damo, if he's smoking Damo, he's sucking up on Nick. And last week, if you remember, he was just almost bubbling about Steve Saka, that if he's like his child. What do you think it's from that?
Well, look, just drawing on my deep knowledge of the topic at hand, having enormous experience, obviously, the answer is absolutely, and there is no distinction between Damo and his relationship with Steve Saka and Nick Perdomo. And what you're discussing, there is no distinction whatsoever.
No distinction whatsoever.
None. And I say that as a subject matter expert.
Yes. I appreciate that. I thought so. That's beautiful. What are you gonna say, Demo, about the cigar now? Sorry.
The interesting thing I've noticed about this cigar is that it's actually got a fair bit of radiant heat coming off the cherry as well.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of heat coming up.
It's hot.
Your way, yes.
Yeah.
Specifically your way. There's a lot of heat. Speaking of heat, I had to go deep down in the rabbit hole, not political rabbit hole like you, Topher. I thought, it just occurred to me after like 8 years that I blew some $1 million on cigars, and I need to just not do that no more. And I was just so it's come from the idea that if I have to stick to cigar or cigar brands, that won't break my budget. And what will be the 4 or 5 companies that I would go bingo? So I've got a list of 4 or 5, and I'm going to run it by you guys and see if you guys would resonate or have different names in there. So my name number 1 is La Aurora, Plasencia, Perdomo, and I would add Oliva, as well as finally New World by AJ Fernandez.
Okay, so to what degree are we focused on the affordability aspect of this? Because Plasencia, I would agree, as a quality cigar, but I don't think of them as a budget-friendly cigar. Yeah,
nice. Actually, you're right. I'm going to take Plasencia out. They are slightly more expensive.
Brilliant cigars.
Yeah.
Now, in answering that, I have in my hand right now, off camera, a cigar that I am very sure neither of you will ever have smoked before and may never even have heard of before.
Yep.
Have either of you ever heard of cigars and tobacco being grown in Peru?
That's
yes.
a negative. I have never had it.
Okay. All right. Damo's there.
I've been trying to get in contact with one of the companies in Peru to get a Peruvian puro, so that we could actually have that in one of the future packs. But the only way to contact them is the contact page on their website. And I don't think it's working because I've made at least 5 contacts on it. What's the brand?
Well, this is Regius. But that's actually a London-based. It's actually a London-based brand. So this is Peruvian tobacco that's made as a house blend for one of the places here in London. So it's apparently all Peruvian and rolled in Peru as a house brand. Now, what was interesting to me is this stick, which is as massive as it looks. Okay, so this is Omar. This is me. Okay, it's absolutely enormous. This was £20, $40.
Wow.
Nice.
And I'm assured by the people that work there that it is actually a very, very passable stick. Now, what's interesting to me, what immediately catches my eye, is there's a number of green spots. I think you can sort of see a green spot just in front of the tip of my finger there. There's a number of visual imperfections in it. And they've assured me basically that a little bit like, Dutch cigars are made to different standards and Italian cigars are made to different standards. Peruvian cigars are made to different standards. They will allow things in their wrapper, because that's the bit that we look at, that other brands would only have in the fill and would only have in the binder. So we all have cigars all the time that have green spots in them. They're just not in the wrapper. We can't see them.
Yes.
So from a flavor perspective, it's not actually a downside. But that simple change in their quality control by allowing the wrapper to have imperfections is a key part of where the financial savings come from. To make this actually a very, very good budget brand, seeing as we're talking budget brands. So I'm going to give this a go later this week or early next week, and I will take some photos and put them up on the Cigar Professor page and report back to you. Does a budget Peruvian stick make a good case for itself in the value stakes?
Well, I think I could be mistaken. I can't remember if this was the name of the line of cigars or whether it's the cigar brand. But the one I was trying to get hold of was Inca cigars.
So they had those there as well. Yep, I could get a couple of those if you want.
Yeah, look, please do. And what I was actually planning is to get some Peruvian coffee and some Peruvian chocolate. And when we actually have the cigar, we can have the Peruvian coffee with the Peruvian chocolate and a Peruvian puro cigar and see if there's any characteristics of Peru that carry across all 3 of those products.
Sounds good. Well, what I'll do, I'm going to have to ship them to you in the post because I don't want to have them as my carry-on. So I'll get a hold of a few and I'll box them up and I'll post them to you, and hopefully they sneak their way through, being just a small shipment.
Or just give them to Nigel and he can bring them on his private jet when he comes across.
Yeah. Funny for numerous reasons.
Oh, dear.
All right, I'm going to remove the band now. The glue seems quite soft. I am now getting a bit of an uneven burn, and this is the downside of not having the jet lighter handy. It's a lot harder to touch up. So I'm going to bellow this a little bit, to use Omar's term. I'm going to purge it a little bit just to try and get that the cherry to warm up a little bit more and catch up with this part that's not burning at the moment.
So the note that I'm getting at the moment is like a savoury cracker. You know, like the crackers that you use for dips or, you know, for savoury things. Getting a nice savoury cracker note to it right now.
It's definitely a savoury cigar now. It's definitely savoury.
Yeah.
It's not sweet anymore.
Yeah.
And I'll stick to what we said at the beginning. It is A dry and its B has gone stronger with age.
Yeah, when you first made the dry comment, I didn't quite agree with you at that point. But I don't know, you were perhaps a little further through, or our cigars are just slightly different. At this point now, I definitely agree. There is a dryness to it. Not to the point of being unpleasant, but if it got much drier, it would become a problem.
It's not unpleasant at all. It's absolutely banging right now. I don't mind slightly dry cigar. It's nice. It doesn't have to be super creamy.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Man, what are you going to do when you are genuinely? Hey?
Whereabouts are you smoking at the moment?
Right, so I'm at the Stafford Hotel in London, just literally a stone's throw from Buckingham Palace. I'm in a courtyard here where they were kind enough to, they open up at 10, but they only do tea and coffee until midday. And they were kind enough to just allow me to come and sit in their courtyard and drink their coffee and enjoy my cigar and talk to you guys. And then Edwina will join me a bit later on, and we'll have lunch here and have some drinks here just to say thank you afterwards when they're done. Well, when we're done.
Fantastic.
Don't you go on throwing stones, King will fuck you up. So be careful what you do.
Yeah, I tell you what, I always used to think that it was the dudes in the red jackets and the bear skin, the bear fur hats that you had to look out for. But nowadays, they're still there. They're in their positions. But then at the fence, much closer to you, there's dudes with M4s or MP5s. And you're like, yeah, nah, I won't mess with them. You know,
Nah.
they're the more modern. They're the more modern version. You know.
Yeah.
No, it was quite fun. It was quite funny, actually. We went and had a look at the palace yesterday, and we didn't see the changing of the guard or anything like that. But there was a big crowd out the front. I don't know if there had been something on or not, but there was quite a substantial crowd out the front. And there were people leaving. There had obviously been some sort of an official function there, and there were cars sort of coming and going. And it was just really interesting to watch. And I think sort of the epitome of English culture, where it was incredibly relaxed, but very vigilant. You knew you were in a place where you could not get away with anything. But there wasn't that American aggression to it. There wasn't that American kind of, we will make sure you know you can't get away with anything. No. You just understood that you couldn't get away with anything.
Yeah.
But on the other side of the fence, chatting to people on this side of the fence, laughing, joking, having a chat, blah, blah, blah. And it was just a really interesting little cultural sort of thing, because I've been around the White House and other places like that where there's a much more aggressive sense of security.
Yeah.
Whereas this was, the security was absolute, but it was a really relaxed sense.
Yeah. That's a very British culture. There's a I would call it, probably not what you just said, but I would call it an ultimate professionalism. The professionalism is so great that it doesn't appear to be aggressive. It's so perfect. I really appreciate that they have this in them. I still do. They still do.
Yeah.
It's like British humor is so sleek.
Yeah, just understated.
Yes,
and very well done. I'm walking around London. I've got to say, if I had to pick between London and Sydney, I would pick London hands down as a place to live. It just has so much more to offer. But that obviously comes as part of just the sheer scale of the place and the fact that it's one of the world's premier sort of cities. But it is really nice just walking around and the architecture and the history and everything else. It's just a nice thing to be around, to be in.
But I would say this: you get over it in about a month time, and you want to fucking run because it'll be miserable, it'll be cold, it'll be shit. You enjoy it for a month. And that's it.
The one thing I will say is that I'm yet to find a coffee that a Melbourneite would consider acceptable.
Like
yeah, no. We've found one that was okay. It was on par with Albury coffee, but that's not saying much.
Yeah.
Have you managed to find anyone that's serving Square Mile coffee?
No, not yet.
So Square Mile is the coffee brand that's owned by James Hoffmann. James Hoffmann was the British contestant that won the World Barista Championship a few years ago.
All right.
And he's really, really into specialty coffee and particularly into filter coffees and, a lot of the stuff that I'm into. So that was why I suggested post if you can find anywhere it's doing that.
Okay.
Did you try the Bean Hunter app at all?
I actually haven't. We've tried that in every other city that we've been to, but for whatever reason, we have not pulled it out here. We went on a hunt yesterday. We found an old article from 2016 that rated a number of coffee shops as pretty good. So we started exploring London, finding all of those, and found that half of them were gone because, of course, 2016 is a long time ago now.
What are you drinking, Topher, with the cigar?
I've got some filtered coffee, which I've got to say is actually this is a nice filtered coffee. This is a good filtered coffee, and I've started to wonder if that's maybe the secret in London is forget your espressos, forget your any milk based coffees. So this is just a black filtered coffee, no sugar, no milk, and it's very passable.
The challenge in London that I've heard from a lot of people who have owned coffee shops is the water. The quality of water is very challenging to work with. Fine coffee.
They need the coffee professor over there.
Yep.
But I tell you what, this coffee and this cigar are playing real nice together. They are absolutely playing beautifully together. I'm getting Damo, you know, because we worked on the brew coffee together. I'm not a fan of like the stone fruits and that sort of stuff in coffees. I want my coffee to be that sort of earthy. It has to almost have a texture to it of that slightly powdery kind of earthy cacao kind of. That's how I personally really like my coffee. And this is delivering on that really well. And that is a beautiful match to this cigar. These two are just playing so well.
You just
I noticed Daniel said that he got a note of pistachio. Interesting, the last few puffs, and it's just starting to transition again for me, but for the previous 3 or 4 puffs, that savory cracker was almost moving into like, you know, those seed crackers that you get with all the different seeds in them baked.
Yeah.
Like toasted baked seed flavor in it as well.
I've got a couple of little sort of, I don't know if they're shortbreads or what they are, but I'm reticent to actually try them because I'm just enjoying this flavor combo with just the coffee and the cigar a little bit too much.
Can't fault the smoke production on this cigar. It is absolutely, for me, burning perfectly and producing plentiful smoke.
Yeah, the tragedy of where I am is that being outdoors, there's just a slight breeze and it just carries it straight away. I can't build up any atmosphere. That's the word I'm looking for. Atmosphere.
Well, the beverages of choice for me tonight is before the show, I spent probably the best part of an hour making my own homemade chai tea from scratch.
Wow.
And then I've also got a ginger ale as well. And I think that the flavors of the chai and the flavors of the ginger are just really, really complementing this cigar. Daniel says he's found plenty of rings.
Yeah. Stop showing off, Daniel. The problem with smoking with Daniel is that he finds plenty of rings in any cigar. He invited me around to his place for a cigar just before I left, and I was like, no, I don't think my ego can take that at the moment. I just think I'm too fragile. I just, I can't have a cigar with him just now, I have to pump myself up a little bit, and then I'll have a cigar with him, and I'll walk out feeling like dog shit because he blows too many rings.
There's also a beautiful cinnamon undertone through this cigar for the last 5-10 minutes as well.
Mm. All right, I want to go back to a phrase that we haven't used for quite a while, but it was most noticeable in the Rocky Patel 1979, I think it was, that we talked about a cigar that cigars would smoke.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It just tastes like a cigar, like it's supposed to. And this is a little bit different to that. It sits in a different position. There's a bit more darkness to this, a bit more. It isn't a roastiness, but it is a cacao. It's a coffee in this. So it's not. I'm not saying it's the same flavor profile, but I would describe it in the same way. This is a cigar, or that's what it's evolved into over the years. Your secretary did very well, Stu. Don't you worry. She did very well. We didn't wait for you, but we're only halfway through.
Sounds like Ethan has got a lot of experience around London, giving some interesting bits of facts.
He loves his soccer and he loves his motorsport, so that all makes sense.
I think I'm starting to get an umami heartiness to this flavor. And I get where you're coming from, like that. You're talking about that 1979 cigar, and that had a really, like a good, solid, beefy, heavy, solid flavor to it. And this has really started to step up those flavors in the final third.
Yeah, there's body in the flavor. There's body in this cigar, and that's what I have come to really appreciate. A lot of the stuff that that we talk about is very creamy and very light and all that sort of stuff. Great, but as time has gone on, how many years into the Cigar Professor are we now? We're into our third year.
Yep.
Partway through our third year, actually nearly at the end of our third year, I'm appreciating more and more the heartier, heavier bodied sticks.
The rate you're going with, I think within a couple of years you will be a cigar smokers.
Well, I joke about the fact that when I first started smoking cigars, I was drinking port because I needed the sweetness, tawny port. Then I moved to bourbon because the port got too sweet. Then I moved to whiskey because the bourbon got too sweet. Now I'm drinking whiskey neat, not on the rocks, nothing, just whiskey neat. And the next step for me, I think, is mineral turpentine. I don't think there's really anywhere else I can go, but just I don't know, maybe petrol. I'm not quite sure.
Well, look, we in my wife's company manufacture our own hand sanitizer, so I can just send you some neat 98, 99% ethanol, and
that'd be good. Yeah. So, well, I mean, let's not be lame here. If you can do 100% chocolate, then you can do 100% ethanol. Okay. Don't skimp out on me, man.
Well, actually, I did do 100% ethanol yesterday because I had to decant. We got a big drum of it, and I do the old hose in it and suck it and decant it into smaller containers for use. And I did get a mouthful of it yesterday. So,
nice.
Definitely had that paint stripper feel to it.
Yeah, that'll that's one way to clean your teeth.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, that's what Listerine is, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Yeah, your dentist won't be criticizing your flossing now. Well, the sun's come out.
What, they actually have sun in the UK, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, as soon as the sun peeks out from behind a cloud, all of a sudden you get a whole bunch of frat boys running down the street with no shirts on, like, give me a tan. It could be 12 degrees, but if the sun's out, they're all lying on the grass, Oh. No, actually, we haven't, Ethan. We've got an Ethiopian restaurant just across from the Airbnb where we're staying at the moment. But we're trying not to spend too much money. Unfortunately, it adds up real quick in London. So we've been buying food from the little supermarkets and eating in the Airbnb.
I pretend I didn't read that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ethan, just like it's one thing to know a lot about London, but you're starting to sound like you like London, and that's just it's too much. It's too far.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Wow. So you guys were discussing in our private chat, just for cigar professors, the limits on aging, right? And then you guys had a couple of cigars that you were kind of like, we might have, this might be added to the limit. Like if we let this age any further, it's gone. And we know that that's a thing.
Yeah.
How much further do you think these can go? I reckon they've still got time in them.
Yeah, they got time.
I reckon they've still got a couple more years. Two or three
they got
more
at
years.
least a couple more years.
Look, I reckon they've got time.
Those ones that I was talking about in that chat, that was my very first box of cigars that I ever purchased. PerDAMO, 20th anniversary, Maduro's in a Robusto. And the first third was starting to show that it was possibly getting to the point of, it's aged as much as it's going to go. But the second and final third was phenomenal. Like that's the best final third I've ever had in one of those sticks ever. So
yeah, right.
I would say this. It was the original conversation started between Damo and I and Cigar Man Sam, and Cigar Man Sam, it just went a bit puffy, and they said, they just all turned into cardboard after whatever years. And Damo felt a bit intimidated, and he goes, and was subconsciously agreeing to it. Look, I would say, like, politely to Cigar Man Sam and Damo, you guys can go fuck yourselves. But apart from this, look, I would not going to speak to Topher directly. A cigar professor to a cigar professor. I'm going to keep Demo and Cigar Man Sam out. I think it depends on the individual cigar. Connecticut's, I would agree with Pete on this. I think some cigars, darker, oily, would get better for a substantial number of years. Demo and I have experienced some Cuban cigars, 20-plus-year-old, and they were absolutely beautiful after 20 years, right? So I would say it's item per item or cigar per cigar sort of thing. Connecticut don't want to age them for too long, I think. They don't have much oil in them. They're not as oily, and they're stale. They have an age where they go just calm down after that. But some cigars can.
The Connecticut's are the ones that are more likely to turn into cardboard. Your Maduros, your Sun-Growns, they've got more to begin with, and they do get better. But I saw, excuse me. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I thought about buying you a box, Damo, that I saw at Fox's Cigars. And actually, I should go back there and take a photo of it. But I don't know. When it comes to choosing between a box of cigars and the deposit on a house, I just felt, you know what? I'm going to have the house instead. They have a box of cigars going for £20,000. Yeah. It's a £20,000 box of cigars, and they are an authentic set of Cohibas. I'm just trying to remember what they were, but they were a rare and somewhat old box of Cohibas going for £20,000. Thank you very much.
They were not Cohiba 19.
No, I don't. No, I don't believe so. I think they'd be even more expensive again.
Facebook user said that he didn't get a notification. Facebook user, if you can go to streamyard.com/Facebook and just link your profile so that when you make a comment, we know who you are. But that being said, if you can just, I just want to know, you didn't get a notification on Facebook. Was that for tonight's live stream? I do know that it's there are some issues when we logged into StreamYard tonight. it actually said that they were having issues with Facebook and that they'd notified
All
Facebook
right.
about the issue that hadn't been resolved yet.
Omar, you've got a groupie.
Thanks, Rhonda. I haven't seen in a while. I'm gonna go up north. I come pay you a visit one more time.
It's because he spends all day
thinking-
grooming it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Grooming it, rubbing oil in it, grooming it, rubbing oil in it.
You gotta do
Dropping
What was
that.
that? He spent all day groupieing it. Yeah.
Well done, Udo. Mine just dropped, but I'm right at the business end of the stick at the moment.
Yeah, we still going.
Dude. Yeah. I deliver the ash mine into the ashtray.
Oh my god, you guys are just no.
Yeah, I do. No. I deliver the ash mine into the ashtray. I'm in someone else's courtyard. I'm not going to let.
I like your story. It's a good story.
Happens to be true, but that doesn't make a difference to you.
It's a good story.
I assume this comment's directed to you, Omar.
Rhonda, honestly, I might just do that. I might actually just do that, Rhonda.
See, the biggest problem I've got with flying to the UK these days is the last time I flew to the UK, I was flying business class and I got a complimentary upgrade to first class.
Cool.
And I've flown to the UK business class, but I've also flown economy. I'll never do economy again. Too long into economy. Business class was fantastic, but then when I got to first class and actually the seat goes flat, they come out with like this memory foam mattress and they put the fitted sheet on it and you get the duvet and the latex pillow. I'm like, oh, if I'm going to spend 24 hours on a flight, that's how I'm going to do it. And I just can't justify $10,000 each way on a flight.
Well, thank you for telling me how nice it is at the other end of the plane. We were on the very, very back row of the plane. You could not get close to the back without being in the galley. But I got to say, that kind of had its perks, actually, because that was where the aircraft, the hosts and hostesses, etc., would hang out. And we got chatting, and they looked after us. They were just offering me wine after wine after wine and multiple dinners and everything else. So they made sure that I got my choice of meal, even though they'd start at the front and work their way back. So other people around me were missing out on their choice of meal. I got mine first. So sometimes being at the very back of cattle class has its advantages too.
Well, look, the one thing that shocked me the most when I was flying first was they actually came out and asked me how I wanted my steak cooked.
Yeah.
Like, they actually cooked the steak to order on the flight. I was just amazed. So
it's a mate of mine. It's Tim is his name. He's in DC now, but he's lived between America and Australia all his life and travels a lot between the two. And he really works the points programs quite hard. So he travels for business. So he's in economy or business, but it's paid for by somebody else. But he still gets the points. So then he uses those points to upgrade himself to first class from time to time. And the last time he went on first class, I can't remember what the airline was, but he had his own chef. He had a person that came out and spoke to him about what he wanted to eat.
Yep.
And he got told to this person. They were from somewhere in the Middle East, somewhere I think. And he was just like, "Hey, why don't you just cook me all the stuff that you think you're the best at, and just show me, just show off, show me what you can do." So he spent this whole flight to Los Angeles, just being served little dish after little dish after little dish of, "Oh yes, when I went and worked over here, then I learned how to do this, and I worked over there and I learned how to do this," and that was his flight. Sounds pretty good to me.
That sounds like Emirates or something like that.
It probably was exactly them. I don't remember for sure, but it was something like that. Yeah.
I think we are almost done with this cigar. And the ash shell
I'm almost wanting to nub it. This one, it's still absolutely gorgeous. I've barely got anything to.
Yeah. Look at the ash it's holding up on.
You're saying that Damo's cigar has a nice ash, huh?
Yes, it's a beautiful ash. Should we light up the next one, boys?
I'm still enjoying this one at the moment. I'm reluctant to put it down.
Yeah.
Now that tang has really kicked up. I'm down the very business end too. That tang has really started to kick up now into a very Cuban-esque space. It is a Cuban tang now. Mm. We've got to give Stu a bit of a chance to catch up. We can't go too fast into the next one.
Yeah, that's true.
And is Stuart a slow smoker or a fast smoker?
Slow, very slow.
Oh yeah, on the slower end of the spectrum. He's no Daniel. I mean, Daniel will be smoking both of these until 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow your time.
I'm going to try and nub it.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I think also, and Omar, you're going to tease me endlessly for this, but I think I'm showing the fact that I haven't had a cigar for a while that I'm actually getting a little bit of nicotine out of this one. And I know. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm getting a bit of nicotine out of this one. I'm a little bit worried for the next one now.
That's fucking.
David, how are you going with nicotine?
Yes.
Now, what's interesting, of course, is part of the aging process is the nicotine tends to, reduce a little bit over time.
Yeah.
But I've not had a nicotine kick out of one of these before, so I'm going to have to assume it's just that my liver is like, what is this? I haven't seen this in weeks.
Yeah.
Weeks. Wow.
It's been weeks. Yeah.
I went bush the other week, and gave me opportunity to catch up on some extra cigars that are in my stash that I haven't had a chance to try yet. So I managed to knock over 4 cigars in 3 days.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh, look at David.
Okay, so David's got a massive nicotine here. Yeah. So I'm with you, David. Not quite to that degree, but I'm with you.
Maybe you should eat one of your little biscuity things with some sugar in it.
Actually, that's probably not a bad idea now.
It's a little girl you are. Put it in your mouth, you little girl.
Actually, Daniel, talking the Southern Draw, Omar and I had the Southern Draw Jacob's Ladder the other week.
Yeah, we did.
My goodness, I have never had a stick as fruity as
Very
that
fruity.
stick was. It was just amazing. It was raisins, it was plums. Oh, it was incredible.
Yeah. Very fruity, that was.
All right, I think I've got to the point now. It's just starting to turn on me, but I tell you what, I couldn't get much less.
Yeah. I'm going to put mine down and say thank you very much, but that was absolutely gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
What a stick.
Mm.
Never fails to impress, that stick.
And what's scary is that we're only halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you reckon that you've stacked the deck against the Pledge Prequel a little bit too much by starting us off with something that's got this much age on it?
Nah, we'll find out.
Possibly, but we know the idea was we already know this cigar. We've experienced it twice before. This is the third time. Just wanted to refresh our memory, what we expect or what we feel makes a good firecracker cigar. So now we've got that comparison that we can compare to.
Yeah, Roger.
All right,
Absolutely.
putting it down. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Unfortunately, Daniel, no. I only bought 3 sticks. I gave one to Topher, and Omar and I enjoyed the other 2.
It's a hard life, but someone's got to do it.
Let's try to draw on the prequel.
I'm going to sit for a minute or two. I'm not going to light mine up just yet.
Fair enough.
We've got multicolored biscuits around here.
Nice.
I guess that's all the inclusivity stuff working its way into biscuits.
There's a nice sweetness on the cold draw on the Pledge Firecracker. It's got 2 bands on it. It's got the EP Carrillo Pledge, and it's also got the United Cigar band on it as well. United Cigars are the ones that commission the firecrackers to get made, and the company that releases them every year.
Yeah.
And it looks like Topher's frozen. It's the best he's looked all night.
Yeah, actually, it still looks shit. Speaking of shit, I think he's still using his Google shit, and that's why. Yeah, standard. Yep. Don't worry about it.
Look, he's using Android. That's the problem. I tell you what, kid you not, just got my new iPhone last week. Got one for my missus, got one for my eldest daughter.
Yeah.
And I've been doing some speed testing on and have managed to get 1.1 gigabit download speed on the phone. This afternoon, I got my daughter to try it on hers to see what download speed she got.
What has she got?
1.3 gigabit download speed and 160 megabit upload speed.
What phone she's got?
She's got the iPhone 14.
Yeah.
And I've got the iPhone 15 Pro.
Oh, wow.
But that's insane speeds.
That's insane, man.
You don't want NBN at those speeds.
Nah.
All right, let's get into this other one. Otherwise, the night will last forever.
Yep.
We wouldn't want to put everyone through suffering with Topher forever.
Nah.
Oh, very different, straight off the cuff. Quite smooth. Soft coffee.
Oh, wow. Very smooth. Soft coffee, cacao, earthy.
Yeah, chocolatey notes in there as well.
Oh, bro, this is good. Oh. This is good. This is very good.
There's almost just a faint hint of deep, unsweetened licorice in there as well.
Yeah, that's super beautiful, man. Oh, I'm liking this. It's very good.
Quite a different stick. Quite a different stick.
Completely different stick.
Daniel, that's with Optus.
Oh, wow. It's a very different stick, this one.
Oh, if you smell the cigar after the first few puffs, beautiful toast, freshly toasted bread with a bit of a floral note in there as well.
Man, this foot smoke is phenomenal on this.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
It's a bit tighter on the draw than the Perdomo one,
but I'm liking it.
It's still getting incredible smoke production. It's nice to see that they've kept the same band off the Pledge Prequel as well.
Yeah, very nice. Same band. Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful band.
Beautiful. Man, I'm really liking this. This is really good. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry.
Stu, I can actually tell you that it is. Hang on a sec. Stu, it looks like you're on YouTube, but Daniel's on Facebook.
Yeah. Bloody hell, this is very good, James. Fuck, this is good. Oh my, man, this is.
Yep, well, Daniel's on board with us. He's getting the same tasting notes as well.
Yeah, cacao toast, and it's just there's a definitely sweetness in there. Hey, Dames, I don't know if you know anyone in the UK. I know quite a few people. Can we hook him up with a temporary iPhone while he's there? It's actually disgusting. It's borderline. I don't know if I would say obnoxious or disgusting, but it's either or, one or the other.
Yeah,
I have some people that I can quickly get him to Uber him an iPhone, just to get him by. It's just although the show is so much better now. There's almost a light. Oh, sorry. Hey, Topher, man.
You can't get rid of me. You can't get rid of me that easy. No, I ran out of data.
Oh, that's what I said.
I'm on international roaming with Telstra, and it's supposed to just auto renew for another data pack, but it didn't. So I'm now on the Wi-Fi. We'll see if it works.
Yeah, it is definitely not your phone.
Definitely not my phone's fault, if that's what you're trying to imply. No.
No, not at all.
There's an interesting musty.
This is too good. This is
both
too good.
musky and musky note that I'm coming through.
What about the smoke coming out of this thing? Fuck. What the heck?
The foot smoke's got
a
beautiful sweet floral note to it.
He's a bit of a chicken. You're right there, Simon.
Hey, Simon, nice to see you on the show tonight.
That was good to see, Simon. It brings a whole lot of insight.
That's all right, Simon. If you started with a Perdomo, you're going to enjoy that stick. We really impressed with that.
Udo is loving it too, man. Yeah, we are too, man.
Well, going back to Simon's comment, there was sun for there was some sun for a fleeting moment. It looks like he's not in the sun anymore.
No, the sun never sticks around for long here. Especially in the centre of London, you're surrounded by 6-story buildings everywhere you look. A little bit of pepper on the lighter, white pepper.
I'm really enjoying the foot smoke on this one. Well, believe it or not, Simon, from what Topher has told us, these are the first cigars he's had in weeks, apparently.
Yep.
So he's gone to all these cigar stores where you can taste the cigars in store, and he hasn't done that.
Yeah, it's called traveling with a wife and kid.
Excuses.
No, well, like I said, next week, once we've got someone looking after Flossie, Edwina and I will head into one of the clubs and we'll have a wide Churchill inside one of the inside the Harrods, where they've got a cigar bar there.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if the wide Churchills that you've got in over there have got the same change in flavour profile as the ones we had earlier this year.
Yeah, I'll be quite curious to see that. The other thing I've noticed, the wide Churchills don't appear to be entirely consistent in their ring gauge. Hey, Stuart, there you are. Yep, we've got your details now. There are some places where I look at the boxes and the box is consistent within itself. And I'm like, are they the wide Churchills? And then, there are other places I'm like, oh, that's, you can see it from the other side of the room. You're like, oh, that's where the wide Churchills are. So I'd have to actually get a ring gauge measurer out to check it. But, we've heard rumors before of, Cuban cigars not necessarily being made to spec, and they potentially make them and then sort of group them according to how they've sort of come out, etc. So I don't know what's happening with that, but I'll try and get a ring gauge out and actually start measuring some of these wide Churchills. I'm not convinced they're all the same.
The one thing that really disappoints me with Cuban cigars is that the quality of the boxes that they put them in is pretty abysmal for the price that you're paying.
Yeah.
Like, you go to Perdomo, you go to Oliva, you go to EP Carrillo, you go to Arturo Fuente, all of these, what you class as your middle of the price range cigars that are affordable as a daily cigar, and they come in beautiful boxes, timber boxes, cedar line. You go and buy your Cuban cigars, and they come in a ruddy paper-coated cardboard box with a slip of cedar sheeting in it, and that's about it.
Yeah. But that's what a lack of competition does.
If you're paying $5 for a cigar, you get a reasonable box to go with it.
But who are they competing with? They don't really see themselves as being in competition with the New World cigars at all.
There you go. Stuart said you could have brought your favourite Flossie Minder with you.
It's true. It's true. Not sure where we would have found the readies for that airfare, but it's true. Now, is it just me, or is this one burning faster?
Yeah, it is.
And totally different flavour profile.
Very different.
There's a sharpness in this. Not quite a marmalade.
This is definitely a more of a sweeter cigar. Coffee, cacao.
What is that? There's a sourness.
Mm.
But it's not a fruit there. Okay. What are the nut? There are some nuts that you can have that have like a bitter edge to them. Gosh. All right, that's gonna annoy me now. It's the skin. There's a nut that has a skin that's really quite bitter.
Hazelnut skin's bitter. Also, the Brazil nut skin is bitter as well.
Brazil nut. That yes. So it's not the Brazil nuts themselves. They're much creamier than what this is, but that's the skin. And
Yep.
there's this sort of the tongue tightens slightly. There's this sort of bitter. It's not a straight bitter. It's a bitter sour edge to this. Certainly full of flavour, Simon. No doubt about that.
Yeah, it's full of flavors.
Mm.
It's definitely some nuttiness, and we all describe it in a different way. But I thought it was a very hazelnut sweetness. It's got reminiscence of hazelnut. Daniel just said walnuts, but yeah, I could say hazel or walnuts. It's definitely sweetness to it.
Mm. That's the nice thing about sim racing and computer games, Ethan, is you can jump in any car you like and any circuit you want, whether it's viable anymore or not.
Yeah.
How good would that be, though, to have an actual, maybe not Formula One, that'd be too fast, but to have an actual race around the streets of London, around Buckingham Palace, over the London Bridge and back again.
There's also a bit of a confectionery note in this one that I haven't quite picked yet.
I'm going to say at this moment,
sweetness.
At this moment, I would say I preferred the other Vitola of this blend over this particular Vitola, but it is early days. We're only in the first third.
There's a slight tang / spice on the tip of the tongue, very similar to clan, like with with a hint of mom lady thing coming through it, which makes it slightly sweet, but it's certainly okay and spicy, but it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful.
I wouldn't describe the flavor profile overall as sweet. I think there are hints of sweetness behind the flavor. That's how it comes through to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a bit of spice, tip of the tongue, a bit of that sort of sourness. The bitterness is abated now, but there's still a bit of sourness there. You definitely know you're smoking a Maduro.
Yeah. Man, I'm really liking it, actually. I don't know if I would go other Vitola or not, but this is good. This is very good.
Okay, it's just smoothed right out. It's just changed radically in the last two puffs. Smoothed out. The bitterness has dropped. The bitterness is gone. Sourness is still there slightly. Hasn't become nutty, but the nuttiness, it's like I've gone from the skin of the nut into the actual nut itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a better stick now. Mm. interesting. It's got a lot of flavor, but I would actually describe the flavor profile as less full than the Perdomo that we just had. There isn't that same sense of underlying body to it. It has flavors, not body, if that makes sense.
Yep. Just trying to pick what that sourness is like. I haven't quite worked it out.
I'm going to take a bit of a risk and slow right down on this. It is a risk when you haven't got a jet lighter because it's much harder to touch it up if part of it goes out. But I'm going to see what just slowing right down will do for this stick.
Mm.
Mm.
Actually, you know, that sweetness does remind me a little bit of his carob.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. Okay, so that little bit of biscotti that I had is not playing well at all with this cigar. Back to the coffee, wash the palate.
Sorry, Daniel. I don't know. I'm just going to assume that you really not much into technology. When you use shit devices, the sound and all that shit is not really calibrated into the mic of those devices. So, yeah, that's cool.
Sorry, I heard a whole lot of noise, but I couldn't make out anything intelligible. Was that English?
Yeah, that was device. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So Ethan should come and become like a one of those guided walking tour people up in London. You just walk everyone around and do trivia.
I think he's got paid by City of London or something.
It feels like it's almost like when we listen to Damo talking about Perdomo cigars. It's like it really feels like a sales pitch, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think you forgot Steve Saka.
Steve Suckup, yeah.
Yes, that's a big suck up too.
Yeah, it's definitely settled into a much better place now, this cigar. Still a little bit on the tip of the tongue, a little bit of that spice pepper. But having slowed down a little bit, it's just a more balanced cigar overall.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. Getting a little bit of a vegetative note in mine as well.
Seriously, Ethan.
Oh dear.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're getting you on here, Stu. It's all right, Stu. We know you have issues. It's fine. You don't have to apologize.
Oh, shit.
Mm.
Yeah, this is burning much faster, but I think it just has more stronger profile of flavors, popping here and there, everything.
Mm. The burn is beautiful. The ash is beautiful. It just feels too fast.
Yeah. Yeah, Daniel sounds like a fan of Turkish Delight. So you're probably gonna finish at midnight, dude. The rate you going.
All right, so now it's settled right down. I'm beginning to get back into a better space with. There's definitely some cacao coming through now, and it's become sweeter again. So this is heading into proper Maduro territory, really well balanced. The sweetness is back, but it's still got those earth flavors that I really, really rate.
Yeah. And also, it sounds like that you are delayed as well, cognitive function, because that's been happening since the get go. So you just got it through. It's just fucking happening for a long time. I'm sure you get there eventually. It's fine.
That vegetative note for me is a little bit like fennel.
Yeah, for me, it's almost gone now. Even that sourness is gone.
Spice is not much there either.
Yeah, no, it's settled. It's settled right down. I'm into the middle of the cigar now. Settled right down.
Oh, I got a question for Ethan. Is he actually smoking a cigar, or he's got a book in front of him reading out, or it's just a Google stuff going on, man?
No. Trust me, Ethan knows this stuff off the top of his head. He does not need Google to help him out with this stuff.
And is he smoking a cigar? That's my question.
That spice to me is more like the spice you get with ginger. Not so much pepper.
Yeah, okay. So that is that mix of the vegetatives and spice.
Yep.
So he's not. Ethan is not smoking a cigar, but that's super kind of him and to join us. And
yeah, come and hang out.
yeah, that's right. Really appreciate it.
You know, this...
just shut up, man. Why'd you say that to Topher, man? You can't just burn Topher,
I haven't had one yet. I don't know if they've been invented in England.
It's got a lot of smoke production, Topher. I reckon you should try it. You go more likely to get one in that.
With the breeze going, it just...
Yeah.
That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
That's not a bad excuse.
I'm at the halfway point. I'm just past it.
Yeah, just passed. stacking dimes, though. You can see the veins from the wrapper still in the ash.
Actually, I can see the line where the outer wrapper was actually wrapped around as well in my ash. Pretty amazing.
So Simon weighed up on the veins and stuff like that. I'm sure he's not referring to Damo. Damo smiles. He's thinking of Uncle Nick. He's got this mysterious smile. He's thinking of.
Yep. Half an hour in England depends on where you're talking. I mean, if half an hour in London's like 2 miles, faster to walk. Got to say, I do feel a bit ripped off. I was really looking forward to using the tube, but false advertising everywhere. I don't know if you knew this, but I mean, you know, I've played Super Mario Brothers. I know what a tube looks like. I know how, you know, transport via tube. I've done it lots of times in Super Mario Brothers. So I got on the tube all excited. It just turns out it's just a train. It's not a tube at all. I mean, they've got them in the banks and stuff, just, you know, sucking things around and all that, and just, yeah, got on the tube. It was just a train. I nearly asked for a refund.
You're waiting for Elon Musk's Hyperloop thing.
Yeah. The boring company is my great hope in life.
Damo,
Simon, that's how Omar talks about cigars all the time.
Hey, Damo, look at this comment. He smiled, he licked his lips, and he just shit. Oh man, this is getting into something else.
So, where are we at now? We're halfway through pack 12. That makes next month our 3rd anniversary.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
And then next month I'll have to send out the info on the upcoming pack.
Well, you've already bought like the next 20 years worth of cigars, haven't you?
Yeah, I think I got the next 5 packs sorted.
Yeah. I knew when you were doing it too. I woke up in the middle of the night. I could hear my wallet crying.
Getting all those bing and messages from the banking app. All the money just flying out the account.
Yep. Ding, notification. There goes your house deposit. Ding, notification. There goes your child's college fund. Ding, notification. There goes your retirement. Yep. Okay, see, this has now become a really beautiful cigar.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful cigar now.
I'm gonna be very open with you. I was waiting to lay into you. I'm being honest. I'm being completely open about it. I was going to lay to you that if you hadn't recognized that, this is, I mean, nothing against Perdomo Firecracker, but this is an absolute beauty. This is an absolute beauty.
Ooh, see, that's a different question, though. Is it better than the Firecracker that we just had? Not so sure.
completely different cigars. Its
No.
No,
own taste.
utterly
It's all
different
hype.
cigars.
You know, like you see the shirt that I'm wearing at the moment. I can't.
But with me, for all honesty, I've got no.
But I'm hedging my bets because I got Perdomo and Steve Saka.
Yeah, of course, we know that you've done it twice at the same time. We know that. But Topher and I don't have this. I mean, it's okay to have like different things. There's no problem with that. But I'm saying this is an absolute beauty. This is an absolute beauty.
Yeah, it's come good. This once it hit that middle third, it came good. I did unfortunately just lose my ash.
Of course you did. What do we expect from you?
Well, whatever it is, it's more than we expect from you, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I could get used to this whole morning cigar shtick. It's a good alternative to morning tea, you know? It's a morning cigar.
It's a cigar for any time, dude. You smoke this damn thing whenever you want. This is good. This is so good.
Still got a sweetness on this stick, though.
Absolutely. It's got sweetness still.
Yeah. I took a photo the other day, Ethan, of there are these posters up at the moment for a Karl Marx walking tour. I'm like, what? A walking tour of London that's all about Karl Marx? That doesn't even make sense to me. But then, of course, I was like, well, you know, the people that are interested in Karl Marx, of course, don't have money for a car. So I guess it's a walking tour or nothing.
Stu is talking about some ears.
I don't know. You two are going to have to sort that out between yourselves. I'm not getting involved.
Thanks, Stu. I appreciate it, bro.
Bit of sourness coming back in.
He's got a whole lot of transition in this stick.
Stu, that's classic. We were so confused.
We were like ears.
Oh, that's great.
Stewie. I appreciate it, dude.
That's why we love you, Stu.
We love you, dude, no matter what. Unconditionally, man. It's not like Damo and Steve and Uncle Nick stuff. It's a bruh stuff, you know, different.
See, he can say that he hasn't had to put up with you for months in his own home, so you know.
Man, this guy's an encyclopedia.
Starting to get disturbing, Ethan. Like it's just a little bit Rain Man at the moment. Just you know, just dial it back a little bit.
Give it. I'm
down to the business.
He probably got on one of those quiz shows.
Oh yeah, get him onto get him onto a hard quiz or something, and make him questions about Formula One
or England
or London. Yeah.
Or Gaelic football.
My smoke production's dropped a little in the final third.
Yeah. Bit of sourness creeping back in. It's indistinct. I can't quite place it. It's not a marmalade. Pardon me. Can't place it.
It's still sweet.
Well, you really are down to the business end, Damo. You've nubbed it already.
Yeah. Thought I'd nub it while I still had something to hold on to nub it.
No comment.
No comment.
Mm.
No comment.
There is nothing that one man can say to another man that makes that sentence okay.
Oh.
It's looking a bit droopy too.
Hanging a little to the left, is it?
I'll turn it the other way. It's hanging to the right now. How many did you travel over with?
Just these two.
No,
I've got
people in your team.
Right. So on the plane was just me, my wife, and my youngest. But in total, the team that's actually coming over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of us are coming to London.
There's 11 bags. You can put cigars in to bring them back.
Then most of them are coming from the Middle East.
Right.
And then there's another 7 back in Australia that are working on content once we start producing it. I've got my first interview tomorrow.
Good stuff. Hit the ground running, huh?
No, this is my second full day here. So we've taken a day or two just to sort of get through the jet lag and find our feet, and we've done a little bit of sightseeing, that sort of stuff. When you get the chance to get flown over to, I haven't been here since I was 7, so we've got airfares are being provided for us. We wanted to at least do a little bit of sightseeing, so we've done a little bit now. We'll have a few days at the end of the trip to do a bit more.
Did you travel with Qantas?
Yeah. Cattle class on Qantas. We flew via Perth, so 17 hours from Perth direct to London.
Yeah. It is, Ethan. I've been there a few times. It's super rich.
Actually, Ethan, friend of Omar's is going to get us some coffee from Dubai.
Yeah.
At least that's what he said he would.
Yeah.
They apparently, from what I was told, they have the best baristas in the world. They buy the most expensive coffee in the world, and they actually sell the coffee for pretty much less than what it costs them, because it's all just opulence and
just part of the culture.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Yeah, we were walking around some of the ritzier parts of London yesterday and just taking in the sights, and there's all these super expensive cars, and you can tell which ones are driven by the owners and which ones are driven by chauffeurs, because the ones driven by chauffeurs are just immaculate. They are just perfectly clean, not a dent, scratch, anything anywhere. And then you get the ones that are driven by owners. And I saw a Bentley that had both of its curbside wheels were curbed all the way around the entire edge of the wheels. You're like, This person either can't drive or just does not care and has just curbed the crap out of both of their wheels. You know, it's dirty and there's brake dust on the rims. You know, this is $500,000 Bentley sitting there with all this damage on it. Like, wow. Walking past Ferraris and you look in there and there's fast food wrappers in the passenger footwell and like they're just treating it like it's a Holden Barina.
Well, I would hazard to guess that the vehicles over there are cheaper than the vehicles here. They don't have the luxury car tax, probably.
That's true, but you've still to have a car like that. If you live in London, you've now got to think about where you're going to park it because a lot of your places in central London don't have much parking, if any. So often they're having to pay for a garage for these sort of toys that they have. They're still you've still got to have a lot of money to have those sorts of cars, and these people have enough money to not only have the cars but then to treat them like absolute trash.
Yeah.
Mind you, if they're with a business in the London city, in the square mile, they're under a different tax code.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Damo, I think I've seen online ads that might be able to help you out with that a little bit. Just the,
Hey, I just dropped you out.
Yeah, little blue pills that should be able to fix that for you. Hey,
it's about the same time, Dames.
I just lost it. Yeah, I think you're right, Daniel.
But I mean, Omar is a bit slow. We know that.
Slow and steady.
Not even attempting to come back. Wise move. Wise move.
Yep, I think I've just hit the very...
Simon.
I thought that was self-explanatory, Simon. Yep, I've finished mine. I really don't think I can get much more out of it than that.
Yeah, you've done well. Two nubs in a row.
Well, interesting. Both great cigars, both totally different journeys.
Very different cigar.
Look, for me, I'm going to come down on the side of the Perdomo.
I'd agree.
Look at that smile. Look, I think they're very different cigars. But I think I'm liking the sweetness on this versus the savoriness on the other. I think the sweetness part which gets me. This is a very sweet stick. It's got a better smoke production, aroma. Perdomo was very robust. You cannot fault a Perdomo cigar ever. I've never faulted a Perdomo cigar. Very good cigars.
The only thing I'll say is a risk with a Perdomo with more age is if it dries out more. It's become quite savory and it is just pushing that edge of where it's not too dry, but it has dried out. And if that continues over the next couple of years, then you may reach the limit of aging for it in the next couple of years.
Yep. I think you're right.
Yeah.
But that's one of the fun things with cigars is to
experiment.
buy a whole lot and consume them over a period of time and monitor how they change. And
100%. So I think everyone's going to have to come to Albury for our end of year barbecue, Stu. We'll have a herf up on the patio, and I'll do a spit roast, do some charcoaled lamb.
Yeah, wow, that sounds good.
Well, next month we've got the Macanudo Cru Royale. We've had two Macanudos in the packs in the past. And I thought the ones that we've had in the past have been the more limited special production ones with the metal bands on the stick. And I thought this time we'll go for one of their more mainline constant production cigars that is at the upper end of their range as opposed to a limited range. So just to get another feel for what that brand is like. So that's what we got next month.
Yeah.
And next month's show, I will be advising. Oh, I've already told what's in the next pack anyway, haven't I?
I think
Tell
so.
us
Yeah, tell us again.
Let me just pull it up. So the next pack, I am digging into my. Actually, no, because remember I said there was one I was still waiting to see.
Ah, yes.
So I'm digging into my personal stash again. Never to get again is the Perdomo 10th anniversary Champagne Noir Churchill. So before they came out with the 10th anniversary Maduro, and he's got the Connecticut Maduro and Sun Grown in the 10th anniversary and the 20th. Before they came out with that rebrand, they actually had one called the Champagne Noir, which was basically a Maduro wrapper on their Connecticut.
Okay.
And I actually really enjoy it. I know Omar likes them as well.
Yep.
And so I'm digging into my private stash. I've donated a box to the.
Which Hideki one is it?
It is a Churchill, a 7x48.
Ooh, hello.
We've also got the Sobremesa Brûlée Blue.
That's a good
And
stick.
then I've got another one, which is the Garofalo Connecticut Toro. And the Garofalo is a brand, I forget the guy's name. Garofalo's, I can't remember if it's his surname. Runs a cigar business, and he actually gets cigars contract manufactured for him. And one of the suppliers he uses to contract manufacture is Perdomo. And so that particular cigar is a contract manufactured stick by Perdomo. So
Nice.
got that in there. So we've got 2 Perdomos in the next pack, technically, although one's not sold as
Not
that.
branded as such.
Blue. But we're going to do the Sobremesa Blue as our December stick.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
Decided not to do a third year in a row of the White Churchill. I just thought we'll do something a little bit more upper market, and the Sobremesa Blue is definitely a gorgeous stick. So
yeah. Well, looking forward to that. That should be good. Well, tonight's been great. I say tonight, it's jolly well, it's not even lunchtime yet. But that combination of sticks was great. And tell you what, those Perdomos, I understand why you went absolutely nuts just trying to get your hands on so many boxes, because they are just a ripper stick.
Yeah. They're really good. Omar wishes he could get his hands on more boxes.
Well, the trouble for you, Damo, is that he knows where you live. So
This is true.
Mm.
But the good thing is that of all the sticks that are in this pack, we will have availability of stock later. So keep an eye out for emails on that.
Very good. Well, I think that's a show.
Yeah, it is.
It is indeed. Well, thank you for making the effort to have a morning stick. Is this the earliest you've ever had a stick in the morning?
No, not the earliest I've ever had, but I'm not in the habit of it. But I've enjoyed it, and it's nice to sort of have a little slice of home when I'm on the other side of the planet.
Oh, Stephen's just asked how we can still get this pack. If you want, just send us a message in Facebook, and we can respond to you there. I still have availability, so just send us a message and we can help you out. All right. Well, thank you, gents, for joining us. Thank you for putting the effort into having a morning stick at your part of the world and getting on. And Omar, as always, thank you for not ever having missed a show. And that being said, we will see you all the last Wednesday of next month.
Thank you.
See you then.
Thanks.
See ya.
See ya.